Your trauma is your greatest weapon in creating the life you desire. If you'd only let it do what it's meant to do. In this video, I'm going to show you how to transform your trauma into an asset that benefits your life for the rest of your life. It will no longer hold you back. It will no longer have you being a victim. You will move from victim to victory. My name is Seth, and if you, like me, have experienced trauma, I am going to help you transmute that trauma into something powerful for you. I don't come from money. I don't come from perfect situations. I have experienced tremendous amounts of trauma in my life. At 4 years old, I was quarantined in the hospital alone, almost died from a mixture of chickenpox and flesh-eating disease. Nearly killed me. I was quarantined by myself away from all the other kids. I heard them playing every day, screaming and yelling and having fun while I was quarantined by myself, fighting for my life at 4 years old. Very traumatic. I have the typical traumas associated with not having money, not having enough. I saved up my money in a Buzz Lightyear piggy bank when I was younger. My mother took the money out of that piggy bank to buy groceries because she didn't have enough money and we had to eat. I've been robbed at gunpoint. I've had people try to kill me. I have had all sorts of traumatic events happen in my life. And not too long ago, a couple of years ago, I was sleeping on a basement floor, sick, entirely broke, wondering how it was going to change my life. But now, I'm no longer sick. I'm fit. I'm a top 1% earner, and I help other people earn more money and change their lives. So, I hope I get to help you do the same thing. Let's get into it. Firstly, when it comes to trauma, we have to define what is trauma. I should also preface this by saying, if you get triggered by this video, as I go through certain things, please feel free to just pause and come back or totally leave. It's okay. You don't have to sit there and leave a emotionally charged comment or just do something that flares you up and makes you feel excited or makes you feel better. You can just pause or you can just leave. Now, what is trauma? Trauma is a story that you have told yourself about a particular event in your past, usually from childhood between the ages of 2 and 7, but trauma can happen later on in life as well. But most of the trauma that is ingrained within our mind, within our amygdala, or the mammalian part of the brain, which is responsible for balancing fear and fantasy, predator and prey, shame and pride, guilt and pride. Yeah, shame and guilt are the same thing, same polarity. It deals with these polarized emotions in the mind. And this usually comes from childhood. The thing is, trauma is a perception. There are no negative and positive events in life. There are events, and then we prescribe a negative perception or positive perception to them. There are 3 things you can control in life: your perceptions, your decisions, and your actions. Your perceptions affect your decisions, and your decisions affect your actions, and your actions determine what your life will be. So trauma is a story with a negative charge. You see more drawbacks to the event than benefits. But universal law dictates that there can be no negatives without positives, which we'll get to. If you constantly see yourself as a victim, you will find situations in life to be a victim. Somebody says something to you at work that you don't like, and you blame them instead of looking at what you could have possibly done wrong or what you could have done differently. And the reason you don't want to take accountability in your life and you give blame to the trauma, because it is blaming something, you give blame to the trauma because it actually serves you to have this story about your trauma. I know somebody who constantly says they're anxious all the time. Oh, I didn't do this particular thing because my anxiety kicked in and I'm anxious because my father made me incredibly anxious as a child because he was very hard on me and said a lot of mean things to me. And, she has a story about her father. She's anxious all the time. Here's the thing about the anxiety. The anxiety actually serves her. And this is the sneaky trick of how trauma is actually considered good in your mind. Because you will not make a decision and you are deciding to have a particular story due to this trauma. You will not make a decision without seeing more benefits than drawbacks. So your mind is actually determined that it's more beneficial for you to hold on to this particular story of trauma than it is to transmute it into something else. So what benefits does she get from saying she's anxious all the time and blaming anxiety for why she doesn't do particular things and blaming her father as to why she doesn't do particular things? Because she gets sympathy. She has a excuse amongst the masses as to why she doesn't achieve the things that she wants to achieve in life. There's a morality element to it. Oh, how could you put such pressure on someone who has this anxiety problem? Now, I'm not saying that this is not real. It is real, but it's because of a perception. Your mind actually likes the story that you are being told. It likes the story of trauma. As much as you look at it as a painful thing and a negative thing and a problematic thing, your brain has determined that it's better to look at it that way. When you disempower yourself, which is what you're doing, when you disempower yourself, you're actually getting benefits. And here's the secret to dealing with trauma and turning it into a weapon that actually benefits your life. The secret to dealing with trauma is one word: accountability. When you are accountable for your life, you change your life story. Accountability is the ability to take account of what has happened in your life. Now, if you were listening before, I said that there's no negative without positive. It is universal law, the fourth law of the universe, polarity. So if you have a negative story about a particular trauma, that means there's also a positive side to it. You are not seeing the benefits of what your life would be if that event never happened. So I'll give you an example from my own life. I made a video about this months ago about a client when I used to work in the music industry as a sound engineer, a client that was high on shrooms and tried to kill me. Incredibly traumatic experience because he almost succeeded. And I had anxiety to go back to work. I had fears. I had shames of being attacked and being unable to defend myself in that particular time. Had sadness that it even happened. Also shame because I felt like I knew better, like I had an intuition tingling speaking to me to not take the session, but I took it because of the fantasy of more money. He paid me double what I would usually get paid. And I thought, I had the perception that I needed the money. So this guy's high on shrooms. Big long story. You can watch the video if you want to. And almost takes my life. And I am actually thankful for that event. Incredibly thankful, actually, because if it wasn't for that event, I wouldn't have got more fit. I wouldn't have got stronger. I wouldn't have taken up boxing and won a boxing fight and learned a whole bunch about myself from that experience. I wouldn't have been as entrepreneurial as I am to understand that I don't ever want to put myself in a situation where I need money and go against my better judgment because I get tempted from money. So now I have financial stability so I can say no to particular situations. Taught me about bravery. So much benefits of that event, which would be traumatic, that many people would blame for why they are a particular way in life. I got so many benefits from that to the point where I would not be here talking to you on YouTube if it wasn't for that particular event. I told you guys the piggy bank story at the beginning of this video. Like I said, I saved up my money as a kid. I had almost $100. My mother took it to go buy groceries when I didn't see, I didn't know. She took it to buy groceries. We didn't have money. My brother and I needed to eat. In that moment, a traumatic event was created for me in my mind. We didn't have enough money. How are we going to get by? My mother had to take money from me to feed us. What is going on? Traumatic experience. And growing up, I equated that experience as to why I didn't have money. I didn't have money because when I was young, my mom took my money, so who cares anyways? I'm just going to lose it anyways. I'm just going to spend what I have when I get it, who cares? Because it's going to be gone. But I am also thankful for that event because it made me more entrepreneurial. It made me want to make sure my family was never in that sort of position. It made me incredibly driven. I used that situation as fuel. That situation, that event, is now one of my greatest sources of fuel as a successful entrepreneur. So what am I doing here? What I am doing is getting you to balance out your perceptions of an event. Right now, you see an event as only negative when it is not possible for it to only be negative. It is against universal law. I'm trying to get you to see the benefits of whatever traumatic experience you have been through. Go through your life and ask yourself, what would your life be like if that event never happened? And really look for the benefits. Because you might say, oh, if that never happened to me, I wouldn't be broke. Or if that never happened to me, I wouldn't have problems with relationships. You don't know that. You can only deal with what your life currently is. And I am telling you right now, there are benefits to your trauma. And when you discover these benefits, you will become grateful. You will become more enlightened. And these events will become incredible amounts of fuel for you to carry out your purpose, mission, and vision in life. I want you to understand something. Anytime you catch yourself saying, I'm this way because, my job is this way because, my relationship is this way because, my money is this way because. You need to pay very close attention to what comes after that, because that statement after the because is a story you are telling yourself, a story of perception that is not true. It is just a perception, and your perception can always change. Now, some people might hear this and say, yo, are you trying to gaslight me into thinking that the things that were bad that happened to me are actually good? No, I'm telling you right now that there is good in them. It is impossible for there not to be. You need to understand this. You need to cancel out all this heavy emotion you have around this particular thing, or it will continue to be the story that is your life. You need to balance out your perceptions. And when you balance out your perceptions, you will be amazed at what your life becomes. I am thankful for every negative thing that has happened in my life, because they have created so much positives. And when you learn to do the same, they will create positives for you as well. Not just positives, they will create gratitude and enlightenment and allow you to remove the baggage of the past so that you can move towards your future, your purposeful future. With a mind of thankfulness. You'll be glad to become the person you are meant to become. And you will be an inspiration to everyone who has been through similar things as you. That's all I got to say about that for today. I'd like to thank the person who commented on my recent feminine energy video. I think it's Queen B. She wrote a comment there that inspired this video. So shout out to you. You've been watching my content for a long time. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.